Hey everyone, I'm Krista Jutras with Everly Grace Whole Beauty, and today I have with me Autumn Bear, who is an acupuncturist, and today we want to touch base on why acupuncture and getting facials and self-care is all part of the process and all part of a monthly ritual and just part of our whole self-care plan. And this is Autumn. Autumn, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
And Autumn, can you touch base? I teach a lot of, if you haven't had a facial from me, part of what I teach is skin, body, soul, and how everything is so connected. Our foods we eat, how we take care of our minds, our bodies, how it's all so connected with our skin. And so Autumn's also going to touch base a little bit about how acupuncture can be so beneficial for our skin, body, soul as well.
Yeah.
Autumn, what do you think about facials and, well, skin, I guess, and acupuncture?
So one of the things I like to talk about in acupuncture is what organs are actually related to the skin and how the skin processes through into the internal space. So there's always this conversation between the internal and the external environment.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest organ is our skin, but the relationship with the lungs is really important. And it's almost as if our skin breathes in and out of our environment, which I know is something that's really big for you. But that adage that says, you know, beauty is skin deep is not actually true. And in acupuncture, all the organs have a partner pair. And so the lungs' job is to open and close the pores. If there's any sort of heat or things in the body that need to be expelled, they expel it through the skin, which is often where you start to see breakouts or rashes or reactions, hives, things like that. It's always going to show itself on the skin, but usually that's an indication that there's something deeper that's happening that's also in need of attention. So the partner pair to the lung is actually the large intestine. And so what we're eating, what we're digesting, what we're consuming is going to nourish and give life to the lungs and the skin in particular. And if we're having problems with digestion, we're having slow digestion, or there's too much heat, it's too fast, right? We're going to see a lot of that on the skin. We're either going to see really dry skin,
Can
skin
it even
that looks
be shown? Can it even be shown through like allergic reactions or
allergic
anything
reactions are a really good indicator that something is going, like especially in the skin. When you have allergic reactions, the first thing I'm thinking about is what's happening in the intestines, what's happening in the digestion, what's happening in absorption, whether we're actually receiving what we need. And I feel like a lot of skin reactions can often be indicators of emotional traumas as well, right? We can see a lot of big problems on the skin where it's almost armoring, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of emotional trauma that can armor itself on the skin as well.
Okay.
And so I feel like as we dive deep into our self-care, it's not just about getting facials. It's about tending to who we are and how we experience life in our environment. It's about tending to really what we eat, right? And I know that's a really big and important topic. We talk about gut health, and it really does become who you are. And so that's a pretty important factor for
And I love that you say that, but even in my treatments, I always start with breathing. I think that the breath is so important. It helps to drop us into our body. It's what I've done through teaching yoga, everything for so long, is trying to teach people to come back to their breath and to breathe properly.
Yeah.
And I know on the skin, and a lot of like Japanese and Chinese face mapping, all through the cheek area can be an indication if something is out of balance.
Yeah.
I always like to say in the lung area. And a lot of times when people come in and I see a lot of inflammation or anything in those areas, I can also connect it with reflexology. Right. And then I'll start recommending people to see an acupuncturist.
Yeah.
And to start balancing some things out, you know, reducing either the inflammation or some of the heat or whatever's going on in the body. So I'm such an advocate for acupuncture and what it can do into helping balance the bodies through meridian balancing and just skin, body, soul.
Yeah.
You know, through food, nutrition, everything. So thank you for joining me today,
You're
Autumn.
welcome.
I'm so glad. If you guys have any questions or anything, please send us a message. I will put Autumn's information out there underneath this, underneath, I guess, I don't know, the video. And that way you have access to ask her any questions or anything as well. So thank you again for joining me today. You can't forget her name, Autumn Bear. I mean, pretty simple.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.